This movie is based on a true incident. The story begins with a couple in which the boy's name is Cameron and the girl's name is Janice. They both come to deserted forest in the night. Then Cameron takes out a dead body from the digger of his car and buries it in the soil. Here Janice is very scared. Seeing this, Cameron tells her that all this was just an accident. She should forget it. Actually, Cameron is a psycho man who used to keep girls as slaves. Then Cameron goes out with his wife to find his next target. On the way, a girl asks them for a lift, and the girl's name is Colleen, who looks very beautiful and young. Cameron gives lift to her, and then people drive further. They ask Colleen why she has come here. To this, Colleen tells them that she is going from Oregon to California to meet her friends. She wanted to give her friend a surprise because he did not know that she was coming to meet him. While driving, Cameron decides to make Colleen his next target, and on the way, they stop at a petrol pump where Colleen goes to freshen herself up. When she sits back in the car, she sees a big box inside. Seeing this, she feels a little weird, but she does not pay much attention. After this, they move ahead. Then Cameron tells Colleen that there is a cave ahead which is very beautiful to look at. You should also come with us to see it. Colleen believes his words. So she agrees, and then they take the girl to a deserted place, and when she gets out of the car, then Cameron suddenly catches the girl at knife point and blindfolds her. Cameron kidnaps Colleen in broad daylight and then puts her head in a wooden box and makes her sit in the car. Here, Colleen does not understand anything about what is happening to her. They take Colleen to their house. Cameron takes Colleen to the basement and tie both her hands with chains and make her stand. Colleen is blindfolded, due to which he is unable to see anything. Cameron whips Colleen. Colleen was in terrible pain. Her screams were echoing and the pain was clearly visible on her face. Cameron continuously wept her badly. The marks of the beating were visible on her entire body. Colleen was screaming in pain and crying. She asks Cameron, "Why are you doing this to me?" But he does not respond and he continues to beat her badly and torture her. Cameron gets intimate with his wife in front of the Colleen. Here we come to know that this man is a complete psycho who tortures and also has fun with girls. After this, he locks Colleen in a wooden box. The next day, the wife of the psycho comes to Colleen, where Colleen begs her to set her free and promises that she will not tell anyone about them. But the wife knew that if she lets her go, her husband, who is a kind of mad person, will kill her, so she is unable to help her, even if she wanted to. At night, Cameron brings some weapons to kill Colleen, after which he goes to her and gives her something to eat. After which Cameron again starts beating her ruthlessly. He keeps torturing her in different ways. Colleen keeps crying and writhing in fear. Janice, who is in her room, cannot withstand the wailing of Colleen, so she closes both her ears with her hands. At night, when Cameron comes on to Janice, she tells him to promise that he will not do anything wrong with Colleen, nor will he make a relationship with her. After this, Cameron locks Colleen in a coffin-shaped box and puts an oxygen pipe inside of it so that Colleen can breathe and stay alive. She tries to open the lid of the box by pushing it with her hands, but she is not successful in doing so. Colleen starts crying and screaming a lot. Actually, Cameron had kidnapped her to make her his slave. Before this, the girl whom he buried at the beginning of the story was also his slave. She tried to run away, so he killed her. Colleen is filled with anger and fear after being locked in this dark box. Her helplessness and fear are clearly visible in her condition. She is missing her parents. At the same time, we see Colleen's parents, who are very upset with her disappearance. They also complain to the police, but there is no trace of their daughter. Time passes like this, and eventually, 6 months pass. But still today, Colleen remains locked in that box. She is allowed to come out of the box only when needed. Meanwhile, Janice gives a good news to Cameron and says that, "I am going to become a mother." Hearing this, Cameron also becomes happy that he is going to become a father. Janice then asks Cameron that we should leave Colleen, because when our child will be born, and when he sees Colleen in this condition, it will have a bad effect on him. But Cameron tells her that if we let Colleen go, she will tell the police about them, and we will have to go to jail. So Cameron makes a plan and goes to Colleen and tells her that, "I work in a company that buys and sells slaves." Cameron tells Colleen that you are my slave, and the company people have come to know about you, and if you try to run away from here, the company people will catch you and kill you. Cameron further says that if we enslave a person and she runs away, we also kill her family members. Cameron scares her with false stories. She is unable to understand and starts believing these stories. He creates a deep fear in Colleen's mind. After this, Cameron makes Colleen sign a form so that she feels that whatever Cameron is telling her is true. He says, "You are completely safe here in my house. Just be a good slave and do whatever I say." Colleen thinks that whatever Cameron is saying is true, so she agrees to do everything he says. Cameron also makes sure that Colleen will listen to him, so he ties a leash around his neck, which is around a dog's neck. He starts treating Colleen like a slave. Then, Cameron tells him that now you are my slave, so you have to call me sir or master, and talk to Janice as madam, and talk to us with respect. Cameron further says that whenever I say attention, you have to stand up with your hands up. After this, Colleen is made to do a lot of work in this house. She is moved day and night and has to sleep in the same wooden box every night. Colleen has now been living here for more than a year. And during this time, Janice gives birth to a girl. When Colleen sees the little girl, she is very happy, and time passes like this. And now 2 years have passed since Colleen has been living here as a slave. Here, when Colleen is serving food for Cameron and leaving, the spoon accidentally falls from her hand. Seeing this, Cameron gets angry and says, "Attention." Then Colleen stands up with both her hands up. But unsatisfied, Cameron hits her with a whip, which makes her scream in pain. Janice cannot bear all this, so she goes to her room. She wants to stop all this, but is very scared of Cameron. The next day, when the girl is spreading clothes outside, Cameron tells her, "My friend's slave left her and ran away." She thought that she was saved, but when she went to the police to ask for help, she came to know that the police was also in cahoots with the company that buys and sells slaves. After this, the girl was caught. Her hands, legs, and body were cut, and many more horrific crimes were committed against her. She kept suffering in pain for years, and finally, she died. By telling this false story, Cameron wanted to convince her that he was a good master. But if she tries to run away, then the same will happen to her. Also, he wanted to scare Colleen so that she does not try to ask for help by telling anyone about him. After this, he unties the leash from her neck and takes him in his car to a jungle where he has to cut woods. Cameron has some friends too, so he tells Colleen to not call him sir or master. After this, Cameron starts cutting woods and Colleen is picking up and keeping the woods. Today, Cameron was talking to Colleen in a decent way, seeing that Colleen asks him if she can ever go home. To this he says that the company does not trust slaves and does not allow them to go. But still I will try. Cameron hurts his leg while cutting the tree and starts screaming in pain. Here Colleen gets a chance to run away. But Cameron has scared her so much that she does not run away. She brings Cameron home and starts dressing his wounds. But Janice gets angry after seeing him. She tells Colleen to leave from here. She does not want Cameron to live with anyone else except her. At night, she tells her husband Cameron to stay away from Colleen because she does not want anyone to take her place. Time passes like this, and now Colleen spends almost 4 years living as a slave. But she had no idea how many years she has been here. One day, when Colleen sees Janice's daughter, who has grown up a bit, Colleen is very surprised to see this, because she was kept in a box most of the time, and they kept their daughter away from her. One day, Cameron goes for a ride with his wife and child, and leaves Colleen behind, locked inside the same box. When Colleen is sleeping, she has many terrifying dreams. She prays to God and says, "I have never done anything wrong to anyone, then why is this happening to me?" Colleen gets very scared and out of fear starts kicking the box. While kicking, the box opens. After some time, when Cameron returns home with his family, he goes to the basement to check Colleen, where he finds the box open. Seeing this, he panics and starts searching for the girl. While searching for the Colleen, when he goes to the washroom, he finds her sitting there, terrified. Colleen says, "I was feeling scared inside the box, so I came out." By hearing this, Cameron understands that now Colleen has accepted that she is their slave and she will not try to escape from here. After this, Colleen starts doing all the work of their house and also takes care of their daughter. But every night she goes into the box again. Colleen had accepted by now that living as a slave is her life. Colleen spends 7 years living here like this. One day, Cameron tells her that his company has given permission to Colleen to spend some time with her family. But before leaving, she will have to give a test, so that Cameron can be sure whether she can run away from there or not. After this, Cameron gives Colleen a gun and tells him that he will have to put the gun in his mouth and press the trigger. Colin pulls the trigger in fear, but there is no bullet in it and she survives. Cameron understands that Colleen will not tell anyone about this now, so he himself drops Colleen to her house and tells her family that he is her boyfriend. Cameron says that he has to go to a meeting, so he is going. The family is very happy to meet her after so many years. Colleen is completely broken from inside, and she pretends to laugh and talk in front of her family. She does not tell anything about the truth about Cameron. Colleen's sister tells her that it has been 7 years since we separated. Colin is very surprised. Her sister tells her that all their relatives and friends are married and some have children too. Hearing this, she becomes very sad. She starts thinking about how much she has lost in her life. Colin's sister asks her in private, "When will you come now?" Colin replies, "I am not sure." Colin's sister realizes that she is in some big trouble, so the sister assures, "If you want to something, then you can tell me." Colin is about to tell everything to her sister when Cameron comes to pick her up and takes Colin back with him. At night, Cameron and Colleen are together at home, where he tells her that he wants to marry her and wants to start a family, but Colleen is not ready for this. Janice listens. Janice is already very upset with her husband, so the next day after packing her things, Janice leaves the house with her daughter. Cameron is very sad and broken by her departure. He starts taking out his anger on Colleen. He takes her to the basement, tortures her, and locks her in the basement, due to which Colleen starts crying a lot. After this, Cameron takes his car and goes out. Meanwhile, Janice is praying in the church, and she realizes her mistakes. She should not have supported her husband. She apologizes to God, goes to Cameron's house, and takes Colleen out of the basement. She tells her that whatever Cameron told you about slaves was all a lie. She also shared that before you we had caught a girl and made her a slave, but that girl tried to run away, so Cameron killed her. Janice did not want the same to happen with Colin, so she asks her to leave from there. She drops her to the bus stop, but Colleen is scared of running away. Janice gives her courage. After this, Colleen sits in the bus and leaves for her home. Colleen comes home and meets her parents and starts crying with happiness, because after 7 years, she was free from slavery and was able to breathe in the open air without any pressure. Then Colleen tells the police the truth about Cameron. After this, the police arrest Cameron and he is sentenced to life imprisonment, and the movie ends with that. So friends, how did you like the explanation of this movie? Do tell us in the comments, like and share the video, subscribe to the channel, and press the bell icon so that you do not miss the upcoming videos.